Good morning. I'm going to talk you through the introduction and then give you the rest of the time to work on that. So the introduction to this essay is going to be a little bit different than other ones that we've done in the past because it's going to be expanded to include your own personal definition of what it means to be blameworthy. And that's a definition that you're going to illustrate with a personal story. So this is more substantial than the introductions you've written in the past because it's going to include a definition and some elaboration on that. Let's see. So let me open up the steps for the introduction and then I can talk you through it. In order to write this, you're going to use the definition of blameworthiness or blameworthy action that you already drafted as a free write on, well, it would have been May 20th if you're in period 3 or May 21st if you're in period 8. So if you go back to that lesson plan from May 20th or May 21st, you'll find the free write that you wrote on what it means to be blameworthy. That's going to be the basis of your introduction. You're going to build that free write out into a full introduction. So I've attached, oops, sorry. You know what? I'm in the wrong thing. That's why I can't see it. I've attached a link here, and this is going to walk you through the steps to create the introduction. Okay, so the first step is to return to that free write about what makes someone blameworthy. And you're going to revise this to create a hook for your essay that gives your own definition of what it means to be blameworthy. I asked you, what does it mean to be blameworthy? And you did some thinking about that. So you're going to work with that and use that as the first piece of the introduction. The first piece of the introduction will give your definition of what it means to be blameworthy. Now, step 2 is going to be a brief, personal, descriptive story that helps illustrate your definition of what it means to be blameworthy. So I'm asking you to tell me a story about you, something you were involved in, or maybe something you witnessed with other people close to you that they were involved in, that allows the reader to visualize the scenario very clearly. And this is not about the book. This is about your experience. You're not even going to talk about Romeo and Juliet yet. The story doesn't have to be about you personally, but it should be about a real situation you witnessed or experienced directly that helped to shape your ideas about blame and responsibility. So what's a story about something that happened that to you or to someone you know that will illustrate or make clear why you hold the definition of blameworthiness or responsibility that you hold? So you're setting up, in step 1, you're setting up a definition for what it means to be blameworthy. In step 2, you're telling a story that illustrates that definition. And then step 3, you're going to make the transition to writing about the play. So you need a sentence that will make that transition. I gave the example here. While my own actions can indeed be blamed for the fight I had with my brother, my character flaws were less severe than those of Friar Lawrence. So this is hypothetical, but in this hypothetical imaginary essay here that I'm writing, you can imagine that I wrote some sort of story about a fight I had with my brother and how that helped to clarify what it means to be blameworthy. But now I'm bridging to the play, so this sentence is going to make that connection. The next sentence, a little bit of context. This is where you're going to include the tag, the title, author, and genre, and plot details that are relevant to your thesis. So now that I've introduced the character of Friar Lawrence, I'm going to give a little more here. In the play Romeo and Juliet, Friar Lawrence arranges the marriage of the young lovers and conspires with Juliet for the ill-fated plan to reunite them after Romeo was banished by the prince. That's all context. It's not an argument. It's not saying why he's blameworthy yet. It's not my thesis statement, but it names the play. I'm going to revise that because it doesn't name the author. It should say in the play Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, Friar Lawrence arranges the marriage of the young lovers and conspires with Juliet for the ill-fated plan to reunite them after Romeo was banished by the prince. Romeo and Juliet is a play title, so it also should be in italics. I'll fix that in the copy that I attached to your assignment link. So when you have that context sentence, then the last step is to include your thesis. that you've already written. You may need to adjust the grammar a little just to make sure it flows with the sentences that have come before it. So this is going to be a lengthier introduction. Don't be surprised if it runs 3/4 of a page, because you're doing a lot of things here. You're defining what it means to be blameworthy in step 1. You're telling a story about you or someone you know that helps to clarify or illustrate that definition of blameworthiness. You're bridging, you're linking to the play. You're giving context about the play and the character that you're going to blame. And then you include your thesis statement for why that character is to blame. So you'll have the whole period to draft this, and it's due, actually you have more than the period because it's due before our next class. Now, to get attendance credit for today, all you have to do is leave a private comment with your favorite color. So just add a private comment to this assignment link and tell me your favorite color, and I'll take that as your attendance for the day. Okay, if you have any other questions, just type them in the comments and I will answer them.